All right. Good morning, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us on our webinar. We're really excited to get started here with growing online sales through organic traffic. It's a topic that's increasingly popular nowadays, and we also have a special treat for you. We're going to spend some time at the end of our webinar talking about how to capture some more revenue from that increased traffic. So I'm going to let my co-host Ryan introduce himself here.
Hello, sorry about that. Minor technical difficulty. I'm Ryan Garrow. Pleasure to be here. I'm the Director of Partnerships at Logical Position. And most webinars, I introduce myself with 3 numbers. It makes it easy. I have 5 businesses I run with my wife, some of them online, some of them retail storefronts. I have 4 kids under 6, and I live on 8 acres in Sherwood, Oregon, just outside Portland. So my life is fairly crazy. But my mission really is to help business owners and marketing teams get out of their own way to aggressively grow their companies. I'm passionate about growth, and hopefully we'll get to that today and teach some people how they can do that quickly.
All right, and then I've spent my entire career helping companies to grow. I'm the head of growth at Bolts, and we'll talk a little bit about ourselves later in this presentation. I founded a startup growth consultancy that's been featured in Forbes, and before Bolt, I helped scale consumer apps to tens of millions of users.
All right, Logical Position is a digital marketing agency focusing on all forms of traffic driving. We were one of the first 30 premier partners of Google, and we're Microsoft's Global Partner of the Year for the last 2 years. We've got 6,300 active clients, a little over 3,000 of those are in e-commerce. We've got 9 offices around the US with right about 750 employees.
And we are the world's first checkout experience platform. We have a on-page modal checkout. It's optimized for any device, any platform, and we cover 100% of fraudulent chargebacks, so you got that fraud detection built in. Our goal basically is to make sure that nothing gets in the way when shoppers want to buy. We currently support retailers on Magento, WooCommerce, BigCommerce, and custom-built sites. I just want to say hello and special shout out to the people who are currently Bolt merchants who are working with us and who are on this webinar today.
All right, so today I'm going to go through a quick agenda of what online growth is looking like in 2020. Just one slide there, the couple types of SEO, and then we're going to go through a live analysis of a website and some of the quick things you can do within the SEO space to help turn traffic around very, very quickly in 2020.
And then, like I mentioned earlier, we're going to talk about a few tips to convert that increased traffic into real revenue for you and your business, and then we're going to take it home with some actionable takeaways at the end here.
All right, so online growth in 2020. What I want most businesses and marketing teams to understand in 2020 is it really is no paid or free traffic on the internet. In 2020, all that you should be looking at is paid traffic. You are investing in all traffic, whether that's SEO, paid search, social media. You're investing some time, money, energy, and thought. Most of the time, it's all of those in traffic to your website. So stop looking at things as free and how you can get more free traffic, because you are going to make an investment to get that. And I think all e-commerce businesses should be utilizing paid search and shopping, and then SEO strategies that can actually help improve that paid search. So when you're looking at SEO, there's really 2 types of SEO. The first type of SEO is what most people think about when they say SEO, and that's basically the backlinking, blogs, infographics, and things you can do to and around your website to basically let the search engine see your authority or that you are a valuable piece of the internet space. The other side of that is on-site SEO, optimizing the pages to really rank them higher on Google, and that involves titles, descriptions, H tags, and adding content to that. And this on-site SEO is often what is overlooked when people speak about SEO. It's actually some of the most valuable. It'll actually turn your SEO around very, very quickly. And so we're going to dive in today on a live SEO audit of More Parts. They are a big Bolt client. They're a client of BigCommerce, which is a partner of both Bolt and ours. And also, I've worked with them as well directly through Logical Position to help drive their traffic. And what I'd like to do is dive in a little bit to what they looked for when they moved to Stencil. So they moved to Stencil on BigCommerce and expected that to really start moving the needle and driving traffic to the site. But when they came to me, their business had been going down. The revenue had dropped by about 50%, and they were slightly frustrated in how that had happened. So they asked me to come look at things and see if I could give some insight into what that looked like for them and what they could be doing to turn things around. And so when you go to figure out why traffic drops on a website, one of my favorite resources is SEMRush. It's a free tool. You can also pay for it and get some extra insights, but I highly recommend everybody at least look at SEMRush, give you some insights on your own website, on some things you can be doing for your competitors. So it's very valuable. When you're looking at this page here, some things come to mind very quickly. This is the first page you see when you look at the domain overview, which is the starting point for kind of research on where traffic is going. Most businesses that work with Volt have to be doing over $1 million a year or just over $80,000 a month in revenue. And when I look at the organic traffic to a website, 4.9 thousand or 4,900 visitors a month from organic traffic is a little low for a website. So that's the first kind of red flag I noticed as I started looking at this at a high level. Paid search, not really worried about that because a lot of e-commerce sites get a lot of their traffic from shopping, and SEMRush doesn't track shopping very well, if at all. So just understand that paid search is a little bit unique. Backlinks, we're not going to focus on that. We're looking at some of the on-site stuff and where we can move things. But if you scroll down, you'll see this little thing called the traffic trend area. There you go. Okay, so this little area of the site is one of the most visual historic analysis you can get with your website. Now, SEMRush, little asterisk by it, it's not perfect. It's not going to track all of the traffic. You can see 4,900 visitors a month. There's actually more visitors than that to their website, organic traffic, but it tracks from Google. What does your traffic look like? And it's fairly reliable for noticing trends and where traffic is going and is it up or down. And so as you can see from here, early 2017 was kind of a peak in their traffic, over 10,000 visitors a month. And then after that, you can see a pretty steady decline. Not a happy place to be. I can see why they were reaching out and a little frustrated on where their sales had gone. Notice this red line here. So if you ever see a red line in SEMRush, you'll notice that that is where Google adds SEMRush adds more keywords that they're tracking on Google. So most websites see a pretty significant jump in traffic on SEMRush. They didn't see that. So that is somewhat concerning. So they've probably lost some traffic through that. And then the growth after that is fairly muted. So for me, if this is my business, I would be a little concerned as well. So we're going to dive in a little bit further into the site and see, okay, where can we actually find the wins for this company? Okay, and further down that main page there, you'll see the top organic keywords and the organic distribution portion. Organic distribution, these are your rankings on Google search pages. And so most of you may or may not be aware, most of the traffic on Google organic results, where you're not paying for traffic, goes to positions 1 through 3. Position 1 on average gets about 27% of the traffic, position 2 about 12.5%, and position 3 about 5%. The rest of the positions on the page are really 1% lower fractions. If you're down where most of their rankings are is 21 to 50, you're basically getting zero traffic. Yes, you're ranked in the top 50 for a keyword, but that doesn't get you anything. And so really that position 1 to 3 is where your traffic is coming from, and 4 to 10 is where a lot of your opportunities for fresh traffic is going to come from. And the organic keywords on the left here, it defaults to start giving you some of your top keywords, and they're all, the top 3 are branded. The next 2 are what we call non-brand, or where new visitors to the brand or new sales can come from, people that haven't heard of you before. And if you click on that full report button right there, you'll actually be taken into a really cool area that helps diagnose and find really quick opportunities very easy. So this is the first view you're going to see in that area of SEMRush, and it's the last 30 days. And it's really cool to see where you may have gained or lost rankings over the last 30 days. And so in this case, for more parts, on the left side, what you're going to see when you hover over each one of these bars, go ahead and advance it, Carissa, you'll see December 24th, 2019, they had 166 keywords that were actually giving them traffic. So those are the valuable ones. 4 to 10 are the opportunities. And then we fast forward to January 22nd and hover on the right side there when I took these screenshots. By the way, I was going to do this live, but I took screenshots just in case we had internet issues. But this is a few days ago, so it's pretty live. Top 3 dropped to 158. So in the matter of 30 days, they actually lost 8 of their top rankings on their website within Google to drive traffic. Not ideal. So we're losing rankings quickly, probably a function of multiple things. We're not going to diagnose today maybe why they're losing rankings, but we want to find some easy opportunities so you guys can do the same. And so focusing on the top, we like to click on this positions up here and focus on page 1. Because if you can move from a position 5 to a position 3, that's a huge win because you start getting a meaningful piece of traffic. And so this is the research you're going to see on more parts when you click into the top 10. There's that little blue box up there. And when you're looking at this page, the 3 most important things are position, volume, and CPCs. So the position, obviously the position on page 1, go to advanced and I'll highlight those for us. There you go. Volume, that's pulled directly through the API of Google Ads. So it is the keyword planner data. So you'll see how much does Google say on average these keywords have gotten over the last 12 months. And the CPCs is basically a value that you would have to pay according to Google anyway. So it's a guideline, not a hard, fast number, but it tells you that there's people competing for that. So there's probably more intent. There's likely more intent, at least. It's not perfect, but it's a good gauge. And so if we look down here, we see the first one that is not in a high position for traffic is latest rage. Go ahead and click there and you'll see position 4. It's got 590 searches and you're paying 44 cents per click generally to acquire that traffic. Not terrible. We could probably move that up. But as I look at the keyword and say, okay, latest rage, that probably doesn't have a lot of application to VW bug parts and dune buggies. And so for me, that's not going to be the lowest hanging fruit for this brand and how we can get back some traffic very quickly. So again, then I go down a little bit and I see the search term dune buggy parts. Not only is it a great keyword, hey, dune buggy parts, that's what they sell, but it has 2 positions on the first page. That's even better. Neither one of them is getting any traffic, but it's a good keyword. It has 1,300 searches a month. So if you get in position 1, you could be getting 350, maybe even 400 clicks a month for that keyword. And it's got people paying on it. So there's probably some intent. So wonderful thing about this page as well is you can hover over that URL and see where it's actually driving that traffic. So you can see the position 9 is actually going to the homepage, moreparts.com. Not bad, but Google's not going to be able to rank that as high because there's a lot of things on that homepage. It's not just focused on dune buggy parts. Okay, and the one in position 8 is actually going to a specific brand of dune buggy parts, Manx dune buggy parts. So even if you don't know about dune buggy parts or brands, you can see, okay, the intent is probably a specific subset of dune buggy parts on their site. So if you go to the site, you'll see this page here, the Manx dune buggy parts page. This is ranking in position 8, not quite getting traffic, but has potential. And on this page, what I would recommend to more parts was let's really try to adjust this for the keyword that it's already showing for, but give Google more reason to rank it higher. So you can see that I pulled down the little bubble there, order Manx dune buggy parts. That's the title on the page. A very important thing, but I probably would ditch the Manx on this page. Manx dune buggy parts, if you go to the keyword planner, you'll actually see that it only gets 10 searches a month. So it's not a very powerful big brand. So you could rank really high for that brand and get a total of 2.5, maybe 3 clicks a month. Not a big deal. Dune buggy parts, on the other hand, is a big one. And so I'd probably take away the order in the Manx and just make it a very clean title, dune buggy parts. And then you'll see the H1 tag is that Manx dune buggy parts in the top purple bar there. I would get rid of the Manx on that as well. And I would make this actually a dune buggy parts page. And the third component to this page that you can really focus on is the content. And in this theme on BigCommerce, the content is down at the bottom of the page below the products. Go and click it again, you will see a subset. There it is. So it's Manx dune buggy parts. It's a lot of content. This paragraph of text really that you want on every category page on a website for e-commerce, you want it 3, maybe 4 sentences and a very focus on the keyword that you want that page to rank on. This is kind of giving a history of Manx dune buggy parts, which is not really valuable to rank it on Google for that search. Again, I would change this to be just dune buggy parts. Allow the users and Google really just to see that. And then create the subcategories that allow people to search and easily find the dune buggy parts they're looking for. And then this SEO that you're doing on this page is pretty consistent. So every category, title, H tags, and that paragraph description. It's a little more difficult on a Shopify site versus BigCommerce, Magento, or some of the other platforms out there, but it can be done on every platform. It will help not only your SEO rank higher in a couple weeks, which you can go through Google Search Console and force Google to index it, which will be very valuable, move to a meaningful place of traffic. The quality score associated with paid search generally will move higher as well. A lot of e-commerce companies avoid that paragraph of text on there. That make sure there's keywords in there that say dune buggy parts in the more parts section. But that quality score will have an impact on your of your paid search. So if you're driving text ads, the landing page portion of your quality score is the highest influence. If the landing page is poor according to Google, you're going to pay a lot more per click, and reduce the return on ad spend that you have. The other portion of that is a lot of e-commerce companies are avoiding text ads. They're much more complicated generally than the shopping feed, just going to Google and running some paid search ads for that, maybe a smart campaign. A good quality category page that ranks high on Google for SEO and gives you a good quality score on the text ads will actually allow you to scale beyond shopping. So you can use your shopping search query report in Google Ads, find some high volume terms that you're converting really well on, and say, okay, if I'm converting really well on dune buggy parts and shopping, for example, find more auto parts, then I can find that text ad and say, hey, I'd like to land that on the great dune buggy page I've just completed. And you're actually going to get a lot of really valuable traffic. In fact, when you drive traffic from a text ad almost across the board, you're going to find a lot of value on text ads versus shopping ads. You can control so many more things. You can go to so many more ways to control your messaging on text ads versus shopping. So a lot of e-commerce companies are avoiding these text ads, and sometimes it's because they didn't have that good quality category page that we just outlined on more parts that allows you to do these amazing things: higher conversion rates, higher click-through rates, you get more real estate, so many more things you can do. So try to avoid eliminating or looking down at your text ads, because shopping is such a huge thing now, but use this wonderful opportunity to do both things through SEO and paid search. And so a couple tools that we use that we didn't get a chance to touch on today for a lack of time. SEMRush, obviously we just went through that, hugely powerful, just diagnosing things. We use Sitebulb, it does require a subscription. Moz has a tremendous amount of tools. Some of them you just might want to test and measure which ones work better for you. Ahrefs is monitoring your backlinks, again, a subscription thing, but I want to make sure you're aware because it's valuable of who's linking to you and eliminating ones if you don't like them. And then Chrome extensions, SEO Minion and Keyword Surfer are phenomenal little plugins you can put on your Chrome browser to help SEO efforts.
All right. Well, thank you, Ryan, so much for those helpful tips on getting more traffic. I wanted to take a minute to talk about ways to make sure that you're really capitalizing off that increased traffic and convert more of that in 2020. So the real question is, why doesn't traffic convert? It's interesting to see that there's kind of an entrenched helplessness around this right now in e-commerce. We just accept that 70% of users abandon cart at checkout, but we want to give you some tips today to arm you to be aware that this doesn't have to be your checkout abandonment rate. And the good news is, if you're already a Bolt merchant, and again, welcome to the webinar today, you have a lot of these things by default because we're constantly optimizing the checkout experience and making it so it converts better. But we want to categorize these three ways. There's improvements that you can make to increase conversion events in user experience, customer experience. Usually those are improvements around your login experience and your guest checkout. There's ways that you can automate certain parts of checkout, things that are normally requiring people to fill out multiple fields, and then obviously the type of communication that you do with your customers. That's stuff around your product info, your warranty, shipping info, that kind of thing. All right, so the first thing we're going to touch on, it seems like an obvious one, but it's one that is a mistake that a lot of retailers are still making: avoiding the login wall. A login wall is basically a setup like this. When a customer goes to make a purchase, they automatically get hit with the requirement to register. While there is obviously marketing value to this, remarketing value to this, we always urge retailers as the first low-hanging fruit item to never force account creation in order to complete a purchase. You always want to lead with the guest checkout option, making that the defaults. One pitfall to avoid here too is this requirement to create an account by default by using an email. So this is an example where someone did allow guest checkout, but they required an email. We want to avoid that. Simplifying your checkout. This is a big one. A lot of checkout plugins are third party. They actually initiate a redirect to another page. You always want to avoid this. Remove unnecessary fields, reduce the number of steps, reduce the number of clicks to checkout. That's going to make your checkout conversion rate significantly higher. This is the single easiest item to change. Lead with free shipping. I have a few more options on how to do that specifically. We always recommend to our merchants that they offer 2-day free shipping by default. And whenever free shipping is available, make it the first option. If that's not possible, then obviously doing something like free shipping over $50 USD and putting a limit there is a good option. Automate whenever you can. One of the single easiest ways to automate account information is to use the Google Places autocomplete API. That's going to both reduce the amount of incorrect information, and it's going to make your user's experience significantly faster checking out. This is what it looks like in real time. They just enter a few characters, and then Google automatically begins suggesting addresses to them. All right, communication. It's super important to be upfront with your shoppers. The average e-commerce retail site has a 20% return rate, and you can significantly decrease that by putting detailed product info at your checkout. You want to make sure that your return policy is highlighted to users before they ever make the purchase, and you obviously want to share any warranty information with customers. All right, site performance. So this is not specific to checkout, but these are some low-hanging fruit items that you can implement. We actually have quite a bit of discussion on bolt.com/resources. We have a helpful video coming out this week that goes into detail about some of these things. You want to make some technical improvements. We're going to send out a one-pager after this webinar, so you can forward this along to your dev if you are working with one. But you want to make sure for making sure that your page loading time is as quick as possible, that you're caching the latest versions of your pages. You always want to apply Ajax, trim down your JavaScript parsing. Like I mentioned before, reduce the number of redirects. Optimizing images is really important, applying CSS3, HTML5, switching to a CDN, and then minifying style sheets in JavaScript. If there's one of these changes that you make, it's absolutely compressing product images number 6. I want to focus on that one. There's actually ways nowadays to run scripts on your page that will compress product images by default for every new image that's added. This is often helpful because if you have junior members on your team, they may forget to compress an image, and that'll take care of that automatically. All right. So what does it look like when you build a checkout experience or a buying experience that adheres to all of these different recommendations? Well, on the left, you see a standard checkout. This is something that most retailers here are probably familiar with. On the right is an optimized checkout. Of course, I've got to shout out Bolt because this is what our checkout is, but it follows all the tips above. You'll see a few of these things: the autocomplete address when someone begins typing an address, the limited number of form fields, the elimination of a need for a redirect, and then a 3-click option for payment. All right, so what are our takeaways? I'll let Ryan go over his.
Chris, and I can back up through analysis of a lot of our clients that Bolt customers, if you're on the call, you've already seen it, Bolt customers do see a high increase in conversion rate just by changing the checkout flow. It's phenomenal, and I highly recommend it to everybody. But on the SEO and growing traffic in 2020 side, really take the time to research. Too many companies just go out and start doing SEO and just picking keywords they think are appropriate. And they may be appropriate, but you might be competing with Amazon, Walmart, Target, and you're like 10 years and hundreds of thousands of dollars of SEO away from getting some meaningful traffic. So do the research, pick the right keywords that are going to work for your brand to get some traffic, and get that low-hanging fruit. Find the ones where you're on the first page of Google already, and you can just do some optimizations and move up into a meaningful position pretty quickly. And again, it's just the 3 main areas on the category pages: titles, H tags, and content. And focus on categories. Your product pages can be great, but Google really does prefer category pages whenever possible to land traffic on when people are searching for general products and services. And leverage your work across channels. If you're investing in SEO and your on-site content, make sure you're also taking as much value out of that as possible through paid search and driving traffic to that page to get extra traffic there whenever possible.
All right, and then when it comes to optimizing your checkout and your buying experience, as we mentioned before, automate whenever you can. Google Places is an easy item. Lead with free shipping. If free shipping is not an option for all purchases, implement free shipping over $50 USD. Give shoppers all the info they need. Be really transparent with your shipping, your processing, all your fee information. Optimize your site performance with the 9 ways that we mentioned. Again, we're going to send out a summary of those because you can send that over to your developer and get those changes made, and always lead with guest checkout. Of course, I got to leave some information. How do you follow up with us if you have any questions? If you are someone who wants to grow your website traffic this year, obviously Ryan is a wealth of information. His agency is incredible. They work with 6,300 clients currently, and they have an amount of data that's absolutely unparalleled. And I've worked with many agencies, and I've seen this be the case. If you're looking to convert more of your shoppers, you can check us out at bolt.com. We also have a ton more helpful tips, tricks, resources at bolt.com/resources. All right, so now I know that we're hitting up against our time limit, but we wanted to leave some time for any questions. You can go ahead and submit those in the Zoom chat.
So here's a good question from Kyle. How is SEMRush better than what you can get in Google Analytics? It's not necessarily. Google Analytics is going to have a lot of insights into your overall traffic patterns. SEMRush does a good job of matching up and scraping Google for where you're actually ranking the best for certain keywords. And so if you don't know that in Nevada that you're ranking in position 5 for this keyword, SEMRush can give you some of that insight. The other thing I recommend to all brands or companies in general is connecting the big 3 of Google: Analytics, Google Ads, and Search Console. That, and you go into Google Ads, you will actually be able to see a report that shows paid and organic clicks together. So when you have a paid search ad and organic, what's your click-through rate on both of those individual ads? If you have just organic, what's your click-through rate? If you have just paid, what's your click-through rate? Super valuable, and I would say maybe 10% of the companies I talk to actually have those created. So it's a huge advantage, and it gets you real Google data, not just some estimates from SEMrush. So that's really valuable. But SEM is a much more powerful opportunity for finding and or doing that research to find those opportunities than Google Analytics would be. And then there's quite a few questions on different things. Some of them I can probably sum up in one of them that is the most cost-effective way to drive traffic. And I'd come down to a lot of businesses have a time-money scale. So when you have more time than money, you can pay for things to be done, or when you have more time than money, you can do a lot of stuff yourself. More money than time, pay for it. So it's not really an either or what's cheaper. SEO, generally speaking, that what everybody means when they say you're going to invest now and you're going to get something in 6 months. The stuff we looked at now, if you haven't done category page optimization on your site, everybody should do that immediately. But if you're stuck down on page 5, you're not going to jump into position 3 just by putting that content on your page. And so one of the lenses I look at for my personal businesses, or whether I'm willing to invest in a business or not, is can I make it work through paid search alone? Because it's Google's world and we're living in it. And if it can pencil where Google's winning and you're winning, then yes, it's a great business. And I look personally at SEO as gravy. In certain scenarios, I am actually willing to give up some of the SEO traffic like Amazon for a couple of my brands, because I actually like the conversion rates on Amazon and what it does there. And in other parts of my brand, I really want that traffic based on lifetime value of the customer and what it means to be capturing it. So there's a lot of levers that move to help decide what you could or should be doing. And so if you've got some questions, reach out to me. Everybody that mentions this webinar, just email me. I'll give you an hour of my time and we'll connect Google Analytics ads, and we'll kind of dive into the data and help give you some guidelines of where I would take it if it was my money and what I would be doing.
A few different questions coming at once, so I'm going to triage them. There's a question here about getting backlinks. What is the best way to get backlinks?
It's manual. It's really frustrating, but you have to go out and find the high quality sites and ask for backlinks. So a lot of times it's creating content for them. They put it on their site and it links back to you. I've had some good friends that have done some phenomenal SEO work by reaching out to local municipalities, because a .gov site has a huge amount of authority within Google, and they went and created a bunch of content because most municipalities are limited on their budget to create valuable articles. And so this one created like a summer safety guide, and then it linked back and they actually did traffic safety stuff. So it's a huge valuable thing, but it's unfortunately very time consuming, but it's very valuable when you can get some good ones.
And then there's a question here that touches both your area of expertise, Ryan, and ours. It says, I struggle with bottom funnel conversions on my site. From what you've seen, what type of traffic converts at a higher level, SEO versus paid search words? Does Bolt help improve ad performance?
Well, I mean, I know from what I've seen with you, Bolt improves all site performance. That's easy. Put Bolt on and all your traffic should convert better. Generally, paid search, if it's well run, converts better than SEO. And the reason being is generally you can drop the searcher further down the funnel. And because so many searches, it's something like 15% of all searches done on Google in a 90-day period have never been done before. So we're constantly coming up with new ways to search. And Google's algorithm is not updating in real time and understanding kind of the intent of those, whereas paid search can really do that and get people to the place they want to go better. So most of the time, at least for our clients at Logical Position, where we know the strategy of paid search is sound, we can say that paid search will convert at a higher rate than most organic traffic. And that's kind of splitting out the brand traffic from each one of those, because it does, if people are looking for you, they're obviously going to convert higher. And so the important piece to all your traffic is non-brand. How are people that are looking for your product or service and don't know you yet, how are they going to find you and convert the best?
With that being said, I think we are over time here, so we are unfortunately going to have to wrap. Please don't hesitate to reach out to either one of us at these emails that we had here. Either hitting us up at bolt.com, you can request a demo there, or reaching out to Ryan directly. Thank you so much, everyone, for your time.
Thank you.